might be more important to address the needs for them to have to come here.
Back down the Arbit with Republican State Representative Josh Schriver, Democratic State Representative Noah Arbit, both here to talk about this issue that we've been talking about for a while now, which is the accusation that there is some bill ramming going on where the Democrats are ramming bills through in order to get this all done. Attorney and anchor Charlie Langton joins us now as well to talk about this. All right, so let's talk about how heated this is getting. I invited Representative Schriver and also Representative Arbit to join us, and Representative Schriver actually put this together as a little indication of the heat that we will feel here tonight, a little promotional thing. Schriver versus Arbit on Fox 2's Let It Rip. The reason this is so important to you, Representative Schriver, is you think that the Democrats are acting way too quickly and just in the veil of darkness trying to pass and push bills through, and you've had enough of it. What's going on?
It's been the same thing since day one. My first day, it was like the state of the state, but bigger. Everyone had like 3 guests. It was packed, and we still didn't have the House rules. This is back in January. And I'm texting Democrats and I'm texting Republicans. Where are the rules? Where are the rules? No one had the rules. We finally got them like an hour, 2 hours beforehand. So I'm scrambling through, trying to read, trying to see what's in it, what's not in it. And then we ended up having a situation where the speaker was actually chosen prior to the rules so that the speaker could preside over the rule process, which is pretty unorthodox. And then in that process, I stood up with my hand held high and I was not recognized, which the speaker is justified to do.
Sure.
And so that was the very, very beginning. Since then, fast forward to June, the House budget, another big item. Literally, the stack of papers are this big.
And you say you didn't get enough time to look at all the notes, right?
We're talking hours to review everything that's in it. And so in between that, you have weekly agendas. I had Oxford Middle School, shout out to Oxford, go O-Town. They came in, actually on the last day of session, ironically, we got 12 bills added on the last day of session at 4 a.m. with a 10 a.m. start time.
So 6 hours to look after all these bills. Representative Noah Arbit, I mean, Representative Schriver and other Republicans are saying this Democratic House is just basically shoving and ramming bills through as quickly as they can. We know that the renewable energy bill in a rush was done, and it was the wrong version of it that was initially presented. Is that indicative and emblematic of the problem of the Democrats just going crazy and trying to rush all these bills through too quickly?
No, not at all. I think the fact is that, we fixed that issue right away. It was, a non-issue. We went back and adopted the right substitute amendment to the bill, and it wasn't an issue. But, I will say this, which is that, this is the first time that we've had a Democratic government in generations prepared to actually answer the call of the voters of the state of Michigan to address the cascading crises that are all around us, whether it's crises in public safety, crises in mental health, in the climate, in public health, right? And so that's what the Democratic. There has been healthy debate. There absolutely has been healthy debate. Every bill that we pass has a robust committee process, robust stakeholder process. So the idea that we are ramming bills through, this is the normal process of the legislature. And this is the normal process of the legislature as it has been done under Republican majorities for decades.
Whether it's right or wrong and who's done it before, 20 last-minute amendments on that renewable energy bill, and a lot of people are saying, I didn't even get a chance to read this.
Energy is an incredibly complex public policy issue, and we know that we need to get this right and make sure that we are addressing the issue regarding the climate.
So does it deserve more time, Representative Arbit, to be looked at?
These bills were worked on for months and months and months, and as amendments were written and promulgated, absolutely we had a time to review those and make sure that a lot of them were technical in nature as well.
Listen, elections have consequences. You're Republican, right?
Yes.
And the makeup of the House is what?
Democrat.
And the Senate is what?
Democrat.
And the governor is what?
Democrat.
You lose. You're done. Done. Get more Republicans elected. Republicans, when they were in the majority, they did the same thing. The elections have consequences. Now, you should probably be up on the bills, but to ramming these things through, you knew the Democratic agenda. You knew what this guy was going to do. They can do it.
One of the reasons the Democrats want to adjourn early is so that they can move up the presidential primary from March to February. And one of the reasons they want to do that is because they believe that that will make Michigan a power player in the fifth one to vote in the country.
Which is not a partisan issue. But
Representative Schriver, the issue that many Democrats are saying is that there were 6 Senate Republicans who are holding that whole thing up. They wouldn't have to end early if these 6 Senate Republicans would just say, hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and vote to move this primary up. What's wrong with that?
I just really wanted to comment on one of the representative's points.
But could you please answer that question first? What's wrong with the 6 Senate Republicans? Are they not the ones who are holding up the issue right now in the Senate to move the presidential primary up? And had they voted on that, maybe the Democrats wouldn't be adjourning early.
It sounds like that might be the case, but I can't really comment on what's going on over there. I gotta keep my focus on what's going on in my own world. So to Representative Arbit's point, the robust committee process, 34 bills have bypassed that robust committee process, no public hearing. And so that's number one. And number two, furthermore into my story, I was speaking to the middle schoolers from Oxford, and I said, imagine if you got your homework 4 hours before it was due. You found out your tests and your homework and everything for the week, and you found out the night before at 7 o'clock every single week for the whole year. What kind of state would that create? No pun intended. And so that's really my gripe. And the issues and the platforms, you're right. We know what's coming, but at the same time, the people of Michigan don't know what's coming on a weekly basis. And so what I've done on my X page is I've sent out the agenda when I get it. Usually it's around 7 o'clock Monday night. And so I just transparently give it to the people to let them know what's coming up so that they can be a part of the process and be involved and engaged to have an impact.
So is there a better way, Representative Arbit, to do this? You have education, gun control, clean energy, all kinds of issues that are of import to both sides. Should there not be more consideration given to the fact that some people need to maybe sit down and read this stuff?
There absolutely is. We obviously sit with our bills and have robust conversations about the right way to approach these issues, and in a manner that is going to have fidelity to what the voters have asked us to do, right? And I think it's Rich. He votes against everything anyways, so most of the things anyways. But for the majority party, who we actually have to have a robust conversation, because a lot of the times we're expected to vote with the agenda that is being promulgated. And so if we don't want to do that, or if there needs to be changes, we have to have those conversations.
Can I ask you, how many Republican ideas have made it into Democratic proposed bills?
I mean, I don't have a way to quantify
what
that.
Do you think
but just generally, anecdotally.
I would say probably it hasn't changed from when the shoe was on the other foot. I would say probably around the same amount.
Is this a serve the taxpayers on both sides of the political aisle well to say, hey, you know what, it was like this when you all had power, so deal with it? Is that the right way to frame it?
I actually think that the Democrats, our Democratic House majority, has actually, in many ways, transformed the way that the legislature does business, and we actually have included conversations. I know the Speaker Tate has reached out to Minority Leader Hall on a number of occasions to try to work together on a number of issues. And I don't know where those conversations have gone, but I know that we are always open and willing to work with anyone to get the job done.
So, Representative Schriver, what does that look like for you in terms of working better together? What does that look like for you?
When you say we have robust discussions and we evaluate and do whatever we do, you're talking about your party. When I say we need to see what's going on, I'm talking about the people of Michigan.
And the people of Michigan, absolutely, through their legislators, and we try to communicate robustly with our constituents about the issues on the agenda. I always send out emails and Facebook posts, very active, telling the people of West Bloomfield and Commerce what I'm voting on today and the bills that I'm sponsoring. So to the extent that our voters don't know what we're doing. We can always do better, but to the extent that voters don't know what we're doing, that you have to ask the legislator themselves, why aren't you doing a better job of communicating with your district?
We're going to come back on the other side of the break with some final thoughts. We'll be right back. Final thoughts on this showdown in Lansing, Representative Schriver.
I just wanted to say to the people of Michigan, I love you. God is love, and at the end of the day, we need to have love conquer. We need to have peace rule and reign, and in order for us to work together to solve the problems that we desperately need, we need to get God's involvement, and we need to seek higher power.
Representative Schriver, thank you. Representative Arbit, what can be done to make things better out there in Lansing for the people at home?
Well, I'm really excited because I think for the past year, our Democratic majority in the legislature has worked to ensure that every Michigander, from kids, seniors, and everyone in between, has access to the rights, resources, and opportunities to go as far as their talents and ambitions will take them. And that's what you're going to continue to get with Democrats in charge of Lansing.
Charlie, you say that we've seen this movie before, just with a different plot, with
Whoever's in
different
the
people.
majority, to the victor goes the spoils. Is that the saying there? Our work together would be great, but it's not going to happen. But we'll see.
All right, we'll continue to watch it as we do all the time right here from Detroit all the way to Lansing. That does it for this edition of Let It Rip.